How do you help students who feel excluded in the school environment?
Well, first of all, I think at Sandwich we do everything in our power to make our school inclusive. So right from year 7 we work really hard with the primary school, so we get to know the students as well as we possibly can, so that we can deal with their needs right from the time they enter right the way through to year 13. But as you can imagine, as people grow up, we have 1,200 people, and there will be people who feel that, who are not, we call it not school shaped. Schools, you know, not everybody's going to be able to walk into a school environment and fit in straight away. So we have lots of support networks to help them. We adjust their timetable, we adjust their curriculum, we ensure they have support through counselling, support through group work, you know, because it's for a variety of reasons that students can feel excluded. It can be from things that are happening in their home, and that impacts them, making them feel excluded. Perhaps they live in a village where there's nobody, they don't know anybody, so that's a type of example, right through to people who, because they've got a health issue, aren't able to communicate in a large environment. So we do lots of things to try and make it as inclusive as we can, but then when we ID people who have those issues, we've got a really strong supportive network to hopefully, it's all about educating them about recognising their needs and then having strategies to deal with them.
Okay, thanks. How do they feel when they're in a school environment?
Okay, I mean, it's interesting because I don't know if you've seen the BBC, there's been a big thing about selective mutes and stuff like that. Okay, I think people who are excluded, I think that must be the hardest thing in the world, because, you know, it's not like a weekend, they have to come to school every single day. And I think how we deal with their needs sensitively, and we don't do to them, we do with them. I think that's the key, is that, you know, as passionate and as strong as parents are, we absolutely have to deal with the individual and their needs and their perceived needs. What we can't do is put everybody into boxes, think, oh, this person we do, you know, we must. We call it personalised action plans, and that's what we do to try and make those people who are really struggling. It could be they don't like crowds, it could be they don't like noise, it could be they find making friends difficult. It's so many different needs that could cause them to feel, you know, they can't make friends. You imagine being in a school environment, hey, you'll see me at dinner time, I always go to anybody who's sitting on their own, that's where I sit. And we have a chat and check that those sorts of people are able to make, and we have conversations to check. So it's about staff knowing and creating opportunities to try and make them feel more included, but doing it with them, not to them.
Okay. Do you normally notice students that are isolated at school?
Okay, and I think that is the hardest thing, because students are isolated. They're not always the quiet ones. They could be the really loud ones. Okay, so feeling isolated, you know, we call it the drip effect. So it's people whose perhaps behaviours change. So somebody who's been really quiet suddenly becoming loud, somebody who's been really well behaved suddenly becoming naughty, somebody who's really noisy suddenly becoming quiet. So it's noticing changes in behaviour, particularly as you go through, you add puberty into that, and oh my God, it's like an explosive mix, okay? Some people can become isolated during puberty because of their mood swings, and it's just normal. Yeah, so I think our challenge is to identify when it's that real higher level of exclusion. And I think we're pretty good here, but it's how we meet the needs at that higher level. We've done loads this year to try and address that.
Okay. Do some students struggle to make friends and feel accepted within social groups?
Absolutely, right, particularly in a school like this, because we have a mixture of students when they join this school who come from large primaries, they know loads of people, to small primaries who they know nobody, okay? From villages where there's only 3 houses in the row, so they're not used to socialising, to living in Sandwich where they've got loads of friends. And that's why we've done vertical tutoring. So we mix them all up, and we deliberately don't put you in tutor rooms with people from the same school. You know, we absolutely, our big drive is it's all about making new friends when you arrive. So we do our social engineering to the best that we can.
Okay. Do you feel some students find it difficult to be themselves because of pressures of different social and friendship groups?
Absolutely. Absolutely, 100%. And outside, you want to have a look at some of my posters, because, you know, are you brave enough to be different, to be yourself? I mean, and I think our whole ethos at this school is don't try and be something to be liked, be yourself. If people don't like you for who you are, they're not worth being friends, you know. But in saying all of that, we absolutely have to try and create opportunities, particularly people, for example, who are on the autistic spectrum, who would always find making friends difficult. We have to engineer that and create opportunities to engineer. That's why we do inter-college activities that's all-inclusive. Some schools do inter-college, we're only the best. We do inter-college where everybody participates. You know, so it is that inclusiveness. We do the music club where we don't just have the best musicians, we have people who are doing it for their first time alongside the best. So it is inclusive. We have sports day where even if you come last, you score a point. You know, so that's how we try and create those sorts of things. In terms of in classrooms, we've worked really hard about collaborative learning. So creating opportunities, so it isn't just chalk and talk, me writing on my own, but we actually engineer and create opportunities where people, about their learning, which is something they're mostly confident about, are able to talk, and that reinforces and helps them making friends.